says he will vote no.
And that is Utah Republican Senator and ranking member of the Senate Finance Committee, Orrin Hatch, and he's our guest right now. Good morning to you, Senator.
Well, good morning to you, Gretchen. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you for being our guest. Why is it going to be a no for you today?
Well, actually, I want to compliment both Speaker Boehner and the Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. I think they did the best they could under the circumstances. However, I committed this year to not vote for this type of a thing unless we get a balanced budget constitutional amendment passed. So I'm living up to my vote. But I have to say that, it's so difficult to get the Democrats to do anything around here. But this was a victory of sort because they at least held the line on tax increases. And there are some cuts. And, of course, we'll have to see what happens with the special joint committee. But it was a step in the right direction. I think most people would agree it's a step in the right direction, but I have to live up to what I said I would do.
You do, and of course you're running for re-election, I presume, coming up, although you could have a primary challenge with Jason Chaffetz, who is one of the cut, cap, and balance architects in the House. But if you talk about the balanced budget amendment, it's in this deal where it's got to be voted on by both chambers no earlier than October 1st and no later than the end of the year.
Well, I was one of the earliest people on the cut, cap, and balance approach, and that means we want to cut spending, we want to cap spending, right. And of course we want to pass a balanced budget amendment. I'd like to do that. I've led every balanced budget amendment fight since I've been here, and I have to say twice came within one vote of passing it. In other words, we had 66 votes,
right.
And all we needed was 67. And this time, I hope we can do it. But it's going to be uphill. There's no question about that.
As more and more people are kind of looking more detailed into this deal, one thing that people are talking about this morning is that there could be implicit tax hikes in this deal, with the committee not even having to act. And what I'm talking about is the Bush tax cuts that will expire in 2013, and that adds up to $3.5 trillion in tax hikes over the next decade. Is that something that would bother you and be another reason to vote no?
Well, that bothers me quite a bit, but there's no question that the Democrats want tax hikes so they can continue their spending program. That's how they've kept themselves in power. They claim they're compassionate by spending your money, and that's not compassion. That's just a way of, I think, interfering with jobs. I'm for job creators. I want to get jobs back, and I think you can't do it with the spending practices of the Democrats. And if people in this country don't catch on to that, we're never going to get this country under control, and they want to increase taxes so they can spend more.
Yeah, well, certainly over the last couple of weeks, it has been a tense situation there. I'm sure you've heard that yesterday during the Democrat caucus, when they were trying to get the votes on in the House, apparently Mike Doyle, a Democrat from Pennsylvania, referring to the Tea Party members, said we have negotiated with the terrorists. The small group of terrorists have made it impossible to spend any money. And then reportedly, according to Politico, although Joe Biden denies it kind of now, Joe Biden said they have acted like terrorists. The level of rancor and rhetoric has really gotten ugly.
Yeah, give me a break. Those people don't have any arguments that really could fly in the face of what the Democrats are doing and could fly in the face of what the Republicans are doing. So what do? They call people terrorists because they're trying to get the country under control. Look, I think the Tea Party people deserve a lot of credit. We wouldn't be where we are without them. The fact of the matter is, I've been a Tea Party person, I think, before the Tea Party came into existence. I was one of the earliest supporters of Reagan. And all I can say is that it's nice to throw that type of language around, but the Tea Party people have helped to bring about a change where they're not going to increase taxes on this particular approach. And, yeah, the new joint committee could increase taxes, but I don't believe that any Republican on there is going to want to increase taxes. It's just that simple.
Senator, if you knew that your vote was going to be the deciding vote in the Senate as to whether or not this debt deal would go through, would you still be a no?
Well, I hope that I won't be the deciding vote. The fact of the matter is that I've said that I won't vote, won't vote for this type of an approach unless we pass a balanced budget amendment. I'm going to live up to that. I think that's important that I live up to that. On the other hand, I recognize that this is a step in the right direction. I recognize that we've been able to stop the Democrats' voracious demand for more and more taxes. And one thing about this approach that I think Speaker Boehner and the Minority Leader Mitch McConnell have done is that they've required the Congress to finally be a little more accountable. And I think accountability is one of the most important things we can do, and I think job creation is right up there with accountability.
Absolutely, a couple of steps in the right direction. Orrin Hatch, longtime senator from the great state of Utah, thank you very much for taking a little time out of your very busy day to join us here on Fox & Friends.
Thank you.
You bet.